guys, Stephanie here, and I'm back with more movie chatter. And if this is your first time here, I want to thank you for checking out my channel. If you're a regular, welcome back. This is a movie channel, so everything I do here is movie related. I do reviews, top 10 lists, collection updates, and videos like the one I'm doing today that I post every week, where I give you a few picks for Blu-rays and rentals to watch at home, as well as a few choices for those of you who want to head out and see a movie in the theater. So if this is the type of content you're interested in, this is the point where I tell you, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so you'll know when I upload my videos. And I don't have any big news, nothing major going on. Everything's nice and quiet, status quo the way I like it. So I'm just going to get right into my picks. And my first one is Won't You Be My Neighbor, the documentary about the life of Fred Rogers, who was the writer, creator, and main actor in Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, which was a children's television series that started, I believe the first episode aired in 1968, and the last one was actually as late as 2001, so it was a very long-running show. And back in the day, Fred Rogers was considered a trailblazer and a pioneer, and I think somebody in the documentary referred to him actually as a rebel, because he was doing things that were just groundbreaking. And Fred Rogers realized early on, he was an ordained minister, which is something that I did not know before I saw this documentary. And I grew up watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, so this was like a trip back home for me. But early on in his career, Fred Rogers realized the importance and his unique ability for having the ability to connect with young people and children. He understood more than anyone how to communicate and how important it was to communicate with children. So he made it his life's work to talk to children, and he did it through the use of puppets and little props and scenes that he would set up, and in his make-believe neighborhood. And you know, he just had this amazing ability to connect where other people maybe wouldn't have taken the time or just didn't know how. And another thing that he did that was so important to him is he didn't only talk about the light and airy things that, you know, we think kids want to hear about, like the fish tanks and how to color this or how to make that, and, you know, arts and crafts. But he tackled the real important subjects like life, death, illness, divorce. I mean, he knew how to talk to kids about everything. And he just had a unique ability for knowing how to connect with them and to address these things that maybe as adults we assume kids are oblivious to what's going on around them, when in fact they're not. And Fred Rogers shows us this, and this documentary shows so well how he knew that just because they're not speaking about it doesn't mean that they don't know what's going on. And it's really important to let them talk about what they're feeling and explain to them that it's okay what they're feeling. And what an amazing look at an amazing man and an amazing life. We hear from people who worked on the show, we hear from his friends, we hear from his family members, we see clips from the show, it was just so amazing to see clips from the original shows, and we meet the puppets, and it's just a really feel-good movie. And I realized anyway, after watching this, how important Fred Rogers was to generations of children and adults. And I'm going to leave you with this, that if the world had a lot more Fred Rogers, I think we'd be in a much better place right now, because I think more than ever we could really use more of Mr. Rogers right now. And if you haven't seen this, definitely pick it up, and I think it's worth a buy. It's age appropriate for everyone, I believe. It's PG-13. There's a little bit of cursing in there, but nothing crazy. But it's funny, and it's pretty clean. There's nothing crazy that goes on in here. But I would definitely say to pick this up and add it to your home library if you don't have it. If you want to stream it, you can stream it. But I'm going to leave a link in the description. I know right now a couple people on Instagram told me that the Blu-ray is out of stock on Amazon, but I can tell you from the past, I've ordered things and their turnaround time is pretty quick. They restock pretty quickly. But yeah, definitely Won't You Be My Neighbor. What a moving documentary, and so heartfelt and so touching. And yeah, we need him back, but here he is on Blu-ray. So yeah, definitely give it a look. It's a good one. And my next one, this is a foreign language film. It's from 2010. It stars Javier Bardem, and it is called Beautiful. And yes, I know beautiful is spelled incorrectly, and there is a reason for that, and it is revealed to us in the movie. I'm going to read his name. Javier Bardem plays Uxbal, and he is a man who is involved with several businesses, and the businesses are, it takes place in Barcelona, Spain, and the businesses are not necessarily always on the right side of the law. He does some things that are shady. He's involved with some shady people, but he's kind of dabbling in a lot of things. And he's also running a lot of things. There's things like they have illegal sweatshops where they make purses, and he kind of tries to watch out for the people working there, make sure the working conditions aren't too bad. He tries to manage the people that are running it, but that doesn't always work out. There's some drug sales that are going on. He tries to help them not get into trouble, not get caught, because if they get caught, they're going to get deported. So you kind of see where I'm going. He's a good guy, but he's mixed up in some bad things. He's also the father of 2 children, and he has a wife who he is estranged from because she suffers from bipolar disorder, and she is non-compliant. She won't take her medication, so he is afraid to leave her in, the children in her care, because she gets angry with them, and she's hit the little boy in the past, so he's not at all happy to leave the kids with her. So he has people that watch them, and there are times in the movie when he tries to reconnect with his wife to see if they can live as a family, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But what the main focus of this film is that Uxbal starts to have some health issues. He starts to have some questionable health issues. He's not really sure how bad things are or how bad things are going to get. And this causes him to take pause and really evaluate his life and think about what he wants for his future and for his children. Because he tells us early on in the movie that he grew up not knowing his father, and I believe his mother died in childbirth. I could be wrong about that, don't quote me on that, but he didn't know his parents is the point of it. He didn't know his parents, and he does not want that for his children. So what he does is we follow him on this journey where he is trying to get things in order so that no matter what happens to him in his life, that he knows he can be at peace and know that his children will always know him, always love him, and always be provided for, because he doesn't know if he's going to live or die or what's going to happen tomorrow, and he wants to make sure things are in order so that his children have the best life they can have. And let me tell you, what an amazing journey. This is an amazing movie. It seemed like a very quiet movie. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. As far as the plot was great, the story was great, and yes, it's a foreign language film, so it is subtitled. But it's nothing crazy. It's nothing that you can't follow. It's easy to follow. I never had a problem figuring out who was who or what was what. At times, the cinematography is a little bit dark, but that was kind of went again with the tone of the movie. But the outdoor shots, cinematography of the outdoor shots is beautiful. And this is a really good story. It's really heartfelt. It's very moving. There's some twists and turns that take place, but they all fit, and I can't recommend this one enough. This was a really, really nice surprise. I only recently found out about it, but I would say this is another one that I would give it a buy. I'm going to link it in the description, and if you don't see it for anything else than Javier Bardem's performance, you will not be disappointed. So yeah, definitely give Beautiful a look, because it's worth your time. It's a good one. And my last pick for home is one that I had not even heard about until I saw it as a preview on another movie that I was watching, and it is called Shot Caller. And I want to get the guy's name right, Jacob. Okay, so we meet our main character here, Jacob, and Jacob is, I don't know if you can see, he is riddled with tattoos, and one of them across his back says White Pride. So we know right away that he's involved with some white supremacists. He's in prison, and we see that he's getting paroled. And what we don't know is, has he always been this person, or did he become this person? And through a series of flashbacks, we find out that, by all accounts, he was a good guy. He was a family man, a businessman, he had a lot of friends, he had a good job. He made a mistake, and that mistake landed him in prison. And before he went to prison, his lawyer told him, listen, you're going to a really bad place, you're going to a really awful prison, they mix everybody together, and you are going to have to do whatever it takes to show them that you are not weak, or these guys will kill you. And he realizes from his first night there, when he sees somebody else being sexually and physically assaulted, that he needs to up his game, and he needs to figure out how he's going to survive in this environment. Long story short, he is taken in by the white supremacists. They make him do a few things that he is so out of his character. He so doesn't want to do, but he is told by his cellmates, like, listen, if we don't do this, they're going to take us out. So it's we do it or they do us. So he ends up with these people that he's basically just doing whatever he has to do to survive. And at one point he does something and he gets caught, and it actually extends his prison sentence. And in the courtroom, turns to his wife and he says, forget about me, it's over, just forget me. And he turns his back on his wife, and he also has a son, who's a young son he has with his wife, and he walks away, never intending to deal with them again. He actually writes his son a letter before he gets out of prison telling him to forget about him as his father. So now he's out of prison, and the question is he going to stay with this gang life, or is he going to go back to his family and be the man that we know he can be? And I don't want to give you too much more information because I don't want to ruin the plot for you, because this was a really nice surprise. This is a really good movie. And if you liked Brawl and Cell Block 99, this is pretty similar to that. It's that whole prison vibe thing. But the cinematography in this was good. I thought it was a well-shot movie. The plot was great. The story was great. It moved right along at a good clip. It never dragged. It didn't go on too long. There's a lot of action. There's a lot of violence in this one. This one's rated R, and it's rated R for a reason. And you could just imagine a prison movie and gangs. It's definitely worth that rating. So it's not going to be for the squeamish, and if you don't like the violence, you're not going to want to watch this one. But if you're okay with that, it's a good ride. And there are a few plot twists and turns, but they do make sense. And what I can tell you is there's a lot of questions that go on through the movie as to why he's doing certain things, but the way this movie ends, it is perfect because all the questions are answered and you understand everything totally from beginning to end. The only thing with this is I don't know that there's high rewatchability in it, only because the twists at the end and the answers at the end, I don't think, in my opinion, are necessarily going to change what your experience is watching the movie. So unless you just fall in love with the movie, I don't know that you necessarily have to buy it. I would probably Redbox it or stream it and then decide for yourself if you want to buy it after that. I'll link it in the description in case you want to just take a chance, or you're a physical media person like myself and you want to buy it. But it's definitely a good watch. I just don't know if it's more than a one-time watch. But yeah, Shot Caller, it's a good one. Give it a look. So those are my picks for home. And as for the theater, we still have, you know, the same group of movies that were out there. We have the Black K Klansman is still out there. The Meg is still out there. Mission Impossible is still out there. Crazy Rich Asians is still doing really well. I don't think The Little Stranger that released last week, I don't know how great that one's doing. It looks like it's more down towards the 60s. So, and more importantly, the audience, I think it only gave it like 2.5 stars. So I don't think that one's doing too great. But I actually saw Searching, and let me tell you what a fantastic movie that was. That is a story. I thought the girl was away at boarding school, but she's not. It's just that her father and her FaceTime a lot. That's how they communicate. He's a single dad, and he communicates through FaceTime with his daughter. She tells him she's at a study group, and she never comes home. So she is now, after a day, he can't find her. He's panicking, and he reports her as missing. And let me tell you, there are plot twists, and there are twists and turns and changes, and things go in one direction and they go in another direction. It is so good. It is so well written, and the ending totally shocked me. There was a twist at the end that I personally never saw coming. If you saw the movie and you saw that turn coming, let me know in the comments without spoilers. But I thought the performances all around were good. I thought that the storyline was fantastic, and it really is. You could definitely see something like this going on. But yeah, Searching, if you haven't seen it and if it's playing nearby, definitely go take a look at that one. And opening up this week is The Nun. That's the big one. I'm going to go see The Nun. I already have my tickets for Saturday night, so I'll definitely be able to give you a better review of that next week. That is from the Conjuring franchise, and they said in the trailer that it takes place before The Conjuring, before Annabelle, so I guess this is like a prequel. But a woman, a nun, is having these visions, and she's having visions of a nun, and it's you know, total creep fest. It creeps me out just watching the trailer. So I have no doubt, I love the Conjuring franchise, so I'm really looking forward to that one. And the other one that looks really good is called Peppermint, and this one stars Jennifer Garner. And from what I got from the trailer is she is the victim of a crime, and her husband and her young daughter are both killed. She survives, but she is in a coma. When she wakes up from the coma, she finds out that her husband and her young daughter have both been killed, and apparently there are some miscarriages of justice, and even though she can identify the people who killed her family, they are let go. So we now have our revenge story. So it's a typical one of these like murder revenge type of things where she goes into hiding, and then 5 years later these guys start showing up, you know, dead, so they assume it's her. But it looks to be fantastic. I'm a big fan of Jennifer Garner, and she looks phenomenal in this movie. She looks like she just hits it out of the park, and it gets high marks. So if you're looking for something besides The Nun, maybe check out Peppermint, but that one looks good. So those are my picks for theater and home, and hopefully between the two piles you'll find one or a few things that interest you. And I want to thank you guys as always for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed this. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, share, do whatever you want, because I appreciate everything. Just you guys showing up is just, it means everything to me. So thank you, thank you, thank you as always. And I am going to be back before the end of the week because I have a nice Blu-ray haul coming up for you guys with some special movie lovers gifts. And they're not movies, but they are movie related gifts, and they're awesome, and I'm so excited. I can't wait to show them to you. So until then, that's going to do it for me today, and I will see you again real soon, and that's a wrap.